Hello everyone. In this module we shall be talking about the elements of nutrition. Nutrients are the chemical constituents present in the food we eat that perform several required functions in the body. There are 7 main classes of nutrients that the body needs, and they are classified as basically carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, fiber and water. And we broadly put them under 2 categories called macronutrients and micronutrients. It is important that all of us consume all these mentioned nutrients on a daily basis in the required amounts so that our bodies can use them up for the various functions that they are supposed to perform. Their deficiencies, their intake in excess amounts, and the imbalances in diet can produce several negative impacts on health, which will eventually lead to several diseases. To define nutrient, a nutrient is a substance used by an organism to survive, grow and reproduce. Nutrients are basically the chemical constituents present in the food that we eat, and these chemical constituents perform several required functions in the body. It can be required for vision, for reproduction, for general growth of the cell and the entire system, for neural functions, etc. Nutrients can be classified as macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, water and fiber. They are so called macronutrients because they are required in comparatively larger amounts than the micronutrients. Whereas micronutrients, the term itself tells us micro, meaning they are required in comparatively smaller amounts than the macronutrients. So that is the terminology difference between a macronutrient and a micronutrient. And the micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. Vitamins, there are 2 classes of vitamins, B complex vitamins and vitamin C. And these come under water soluble vitamins, whereas fat soluble vitamins are vitamin A, D, E and K. Macronutrients. Like I just mentioned, macro means large and therefore they are required in larger quantities when compared to other nutrients. These are nutrients which people need to eat regularly and a fairly large amount. Their consumption is usually measured in units of grams. For example, we require 30 grams of fat, 60 grams of proteins, whereas micronutrients, their requirement is measured in terms of micrograms and milligrams, lesser amounts. So macronutrients are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, fiber and water. And these are substances which are required for the supply of energy and for growth, metabolism and other functions. So generally speaking, macronutrients, their major function is to provide energy. Carbohydrate, protein, fat, they are energy contributing, they are energy dense nutrients. Their consumption predominantly gives us energy. They do have other regulatory functions to perform as well, but their prime function being contributing energy. Carbohydrates, they are referred to as energy giving foods. They provide energy in the form of kilocalories that the body needs to be able to work and to support all other functions. Our body needs energy even during sleep. So it is not that we need energy only to work. No, to just keep our basic physiological functions happening, for example breathing, our heart beating, our neurological functions happening, our digestive function happening. So even when the body is at complete rest, even when you're sleeping, you require energy, and this energy is supplied by macronutrients, namely carbohydrate, proteins and fats that we consume from food. They are the body's main source of fuel because they get converted into energy in the form of ATP through a series of biochemical reactions in the body. And the food source of carbohydrate are cereals and cereal grains and all products made out of cereal grains such as bread and starchy vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes, tapioca, etc. 1 gram of carbohydrate gives us 4 kilocalories. This is the energy density of a carbohydrate. Proteins. Proteins are called the building blocks, or proteins are basically the nutrients which help in promoting growth and development of the body cells, and also help in the overall tissue repair, maintenance, etc. Proteins are needed and added for growth and to improve immune functions as well. They also play an important role in making essential hormones, enzymes. Many of the hormones, enzymes are all proteins in nature, and proteins are made up of individual units called amino acids. The building blocks of proteins are amino acids, and there are several different amino acids which our body requires. And the main sources of protein are animal sources such as meat, chicken, eggs, breast milk, and from the plant foods we consume protein from nuts, pulses, etc. Now the difference between the proteins present in animal and plant foods is that in animal foods the proteins which are present are composed of all the essential amino acids, or most of the essential amino acids that your body requires. Now why do we call essential amino acids? That these are amino acids which the body cannot synthesize. These are nutrients which have to be consumed only from the food that we eat. That is why the word essential. Now, when you look at the protein present in animal foods like milk and dairy products, meat, fish, egg, etc., we call them complete proteins because these proteins compose all the essential amino acids that your body requires. Whereas in plant sources like pulses, lentils, legumes, etc., even though they are good source of proteins, they are incomplete proteins because they lack one or few of the essential amino acids which your body requires, and which are the ones which your body cannot synthesize. There are several nutrients which the body can synthesize from other substrates. For example, let's say vitamin D is a vitamin that your body requires, but still it is not necessary that you have to consume it only through the diet. You just expose yourself to the UV rays from the sunlight. Your body has a mechanism by which it can convert a component called 7-dehydrocholesterol to vitamin D. So thereby, it is not necessary that we need to consume vitamin D only through the diet. So similarly, there are several other nutrients like cholesterol which the body can synthesize on its own, and there are several nutrients which the body cannot synthesize on its own, meaning we have to consume them through the diet that we eat. So the difference between essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids is that our body cannot make essential amino acids and our body can make non-essential amino acids, and that is the basic difference between proteins found in animal foods and plant foods. And 1 gram of protein gives us 4 kilocalories, as same as the energy contribution or energy density of carbohydrates. Now moving on to fats. Fats and oils are concentrated sources of energy. They give 9 kilocalories per gram. I repeat, fats or lipids give us 9 kilocalories for every gram that is consumed. Excessive fat consumption can lead to several lifestyle diseases. Basically, it can lead to obesity, and obesity is the major cause for several lifestyle disorders such as the cardiovascular disorders and all other, even your arthritis problems and several other disorders associated with obesity. But fats can definitely make meals more tasty and satisfying. They give you satiety. Satiety is the feeling that you have when your stomach is full. Okay, so eating little amount of fats can give us a satiated feel. And fat is found in vegetable oils. Vegetable oils, or the fat that we consume is unsaturated fat. Those are basically oils obtained from nuts and seeds. And in animal sources, fat is present in non-vegetable flesh like meat, different types of meat, pork, beef, etc. White meat like chicken, and in milk and other dairy products. Water is the clear fluid essential for life. People can live without solid food for few weeks, but one cannot live without water for more than a few days, and water cannot be stored in the human body. The amount of water you consume will be excreted via sweat, urine and other routes. For keeping the lining of the mouth, intestine, eyelids and lungs wet and healthy, we require to consume the appropriate quantities of water. Fiber. Fiber is a mixture of different carbohydrates. They belong to the class of complex carbohydrates. But the difference between a typical complex carbohydrate and a fiber is that fiber cannot be digested like other nutrients in the human gastrointestinal tract, meaning it cannot be broken down. It only can be fermented by the natural microorganisms that live there in our gut. So this makes the food bulkier or bigger. Therefore, it helps us in normal defecation procedures or normal excretion, keeping the gastrointestinal tract healthy. So fiber makes the feces soft and bulky and therefore helps us to prevent constipation. Please remember that fiber cannot be digested. We do not have enzymes that can digest fiber. We only process fiber by the microorganisms which are naturally present there in our gut. The next class of nutrients are micronutrients. Micro meaning small, so therefore these substances are required in lesser quantities when compared to macronutrients, and we measure them in terms of micrograms and milligrams. These include minerals and vitamins. Vitamins are so called vitamins because these are vital amines, organic compounds which have been discovered in foods that we eat, and they're required to maintain several protective and regulatory functions of the body. And vitamins are therefore called protective foods. Vitamins are classified as fat-soluble vitamins and water-soluble vitamins. Fat-soluble vitamins, namely A, D, E and K, and water-soluble vitamins are B complex vitamins and vitamin C. So since water-soluble vitamins, vitamin B and C, are soluble in water, our body cannot store them in appropriate amounts. Fat-soluble vitamins are insoluble in water, and therefore liver and in certain organs these vitamins can be stored. Minerals are the substances that are needed to ensure the health and correct working of soft tissues, fluids and the skeleton. Now minerals are again can be classified as macro minerals and micro minerals depending upon the quantity that we require them to be consumed in. Examples of minerals are calcium, iron, iodine, fluorine, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, selenium and sodium, and each of these minerals perform specific functions in the human body. For example, calcium is required for bone and teeth health. Iron is the mineral which is required for the production of hemoglobin, the red color pigment which gives the blood its red color and also helps in oxygen transport. Iodine and fluorine are required for normal neural functioning. Fluorine is required for good teeth and bones. Phosphorus also for bone health. Potassium, zinc, selenium and sodium are other minerals which are required to do the regulatory functions of the body. So therefore, we can summarize as nutrients being referred to as molecules in foods that all organisms need to make energy, to grow, to develop and to reproduce and to perform several other functions. There are two types of nutrients, macronutrients and micronutrients. The three main categories of macronutrients include carbohydrates, proteins and fat. The two types of micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. The basic difference between a vitamin and a mineral is that vitamins are organic in nature, minerals are inorganic. Vitamins have carbon molecule in their structure, minerals do not have. And vitamins can be categorized as fat-soluble, water-soluble. Fat-soluble vitamins are A, D, E, K, and water-soluble vitamins are vitamin B complex and C. Hope you have understood the concept. Please go through the video also go through the notes that are being shared. In case you have any doubts, you can always get back to me.